Tonight we're joined by Robert of CatHuntTree, the solo developer behind Shell Soldier, a fast, chaotic, dystopian FPS that's been turning heads with its brutal combat, technical AI, and relentless pacing. His work has been gaining real traction in the indie shooter scene, and we're excited to dive into its process, its inspirations, and what's next for the game. Please welcome Robert, CatHuntTree, the creator of Shell Soldier.
I'm glad to be here.
Welcome on.
And joining us as guest host, he's the FPS gremlin who plays every game like it's a dare and somehow makes chaos educational. It's Dumpster Man.
Ooh, I like that intro.
Yeah.
That's good.
And without further ado,
Let's get
booming. Robert, thanks again for joining us. What was the original sparkle moment that made you think that, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to make Shell Soldier? What's the background behind it?
Okay. When I used my job back then. Let's start with my job back then. I used to work as a game artist for mobile games. The here in the Philippines. Yeah, I make art assets for mobile games or for casino games, and it's fine. It pays for the bills, but after a while I'm like I was getting bored with it, like making just art assets for games that I'm not really passionate about. So I tried to look into myself and what am I really passionate about? And back then when I was a kid, I used to make a lot of levels for map editors. One in particular I made a lot of maps is for the Far Cry games, particularly the Far Cry 5, the map editor there. If you know about that, the Far Cry arcade. Yeah. So I used to make a lot of maps there, and I really like it. And and I was like, and I got a lot of players playing my maps there. But I was like, what if I could turn this into a career?
Yeah. You had ambitions.
Yeah. Well, at first I tried to apply for environment I tried to apply for jobs as an environment artist, and that didn't that didn't really got me far enough. So what I did was I tried to study the game development. Well, the available course here in the Philippines is a mobile game development course. So I studied that.
Right.
Took me about 6 months to learn coding, programming. And yeah, it was really fun, And after I finished that course, I set out to and planned to make my first commercial game. And it was a horror game actually that I was trying to build, and
Really?
but but I quickly got bored with that because you can only scare people so many times. It's like yeah. So I pivoted into first-person shooters, and I was looking into my favorite games, and one of them is Fear, Max Payne, Black,
Right.
Black is so good.
Those all make sense.
Yeah. I really wish they'd remaster
Usual
Black. It's
suspect.
so good.
Yeah, it's like the burnout of FPS games with all the effects and explosions. Yeah, so
For sure.
So with something like Fear too, there's some good overlap with the horror stuff. You can sneak that in there. A pretty good jump scare at the end of the demo you got there too.
yeah.
I was waiting for that to as soon as I realized it was kind of a Fear I was waiting for the horror elements to kick in, and it's just right at the end you get a nice dose of it.
Yeah. There's actually a section before that. There's also a horror element, but I wonder if you guys noticed it.
Is it an optional, like a secret thing? I did do a little secret hunting, but I'm not sure I found it.
Yeah, well, there's a part there where you call through the vents, and when you go inside into this room, there's like a window, and there's like this anonymous figure staring at you. I don't know if you guys saw that.
No, I
think I definitely missed that. Yeah, I think I went right by it. Yeah.
Well, now I gotta go back and look for it.
I think I saw a few podcasters where like some saw that, some didn't. And it was like it was really fun because I was like, there are only a few people who saw that.
We'll see it now that we play it again afterwards.
And then it took me about almost 5 years to make this FPS game.
5 years.
Wow.
I thought I was going to finish it within 2 to 3 years, but always like so many things that I thought it was going to be easy, but it's actually pretty hard. The design, the AI, the level design.
Yeah. Is it something you're doing full time, or are you holding down a day job when you do this in your evenings?
Well, I used to do part-time job, but right now, about nearing releasing this game, I'm doing it full time now.
Yeah, I imagine it's all hands on deck for you.
Yeah.
And so why Fear then? Because that's like the obvious parallel. What is it about Fear and Max Payne and Black that really appealed to you, that you felt like you wanted to make a game like that?
I guess, I really like FPS games, but I think also I feel like I kind of understand what makes a good FPS games. I mean, honestly, shooting games are like it's just a game about angles. It's just you navigate using the environment, the levels to your advantage. Where you point your gun, who's seeing you, and I just really like that. There's a tactical aspect to it. So
So something I liked that you were doing in those levels was like the fire extinguishers you could shoot and stuff like that. I was wondering if you were planning on having more of that stuff, because I love that.
yeah, definitely. Actually, at the very first version of the demo, those extinguishers don't explode. Actually,
really? Right.
Yeah. But what changed my mind was the creator of Gooseman, the creator of Counter-Strike. He actually, he actually tried my demo, and he told me that he really liked the demo, and he gave me one feedback like, can you make those barrels and extinguishers explode? And I was like, oh yeah, sure, I can do that. Well, the barrels don't explode yet, but the extinguishers, yes.
Yeah, gonna have to create ragdoll physics.
Yeah, I think I definitely tried to shoot the barrels.
Yeah, definitely on release, I'll try to make those barrels explode.
Yeah, when in doubt, make it go boom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. It's like there was the Rambo saying, "When in doubt, kill." So
yeah, I mean, in a game like that, you're definitely like it's very physics heavy with the glass and all the breakable kind of stuff. You definitely explosions add to that like kind of physics chaos.
Yeah, it's pretty important for me. Then whenever you kill someone, they just fly all over the place. It's like it's a bit like a slapstick comedy when you shoot them. They're bouncing all over the place, and it's fun to watch.
Nice. So just switching gears slightly, then. Mr. Dumpster Man, sitting in the corner there, joining us. What about yourself then? So for the audience at home that obviously doesn't know who Dumpster Man is, why don't you just give us a little bit of background on yourself? Or what kind of led you into your YouTube journey and led you to this moment in time here?
Yeah, I mean, I started doing it pretty much just purely out of boredom, and it's funny actually. We're talking about the tactical elements of this game and blowing up fire extinguishers and stuff. What I started making YouTube videos on was the game Rainbow Six Siege. So I've had quite a pivot from from that. But I just got bored of that game, but I liked the YouTube stuff, so I wanted to keep doing it. And yeah, that was how I kind of slid into boomer shooters, indie FPS, like Ultra Kill and Dusk and stuff like that. It's kind of funny that a lot of people in this space, it feels like, grew up playing Doom and Quake, but I was like Halo kid, Call of Duty kid, and so I've come to it kind of later in life. But yeah, I just found the games to be a blast, and then that has kind of led into a YouTube journey where I'm doing all sorts of random crap. I've never really pinned myself down, but I do always love the indie FPS games. The weirder the better lots of times. Probably most known for playing Ultra Kill. So yeah, that's do with that information what you will.
Yeah. I think I found you through your Doom video. So,
yeah, that one was fun. Yeah, that was probably the longest video I've ever made. I just I woke up one day and just realized I had a lot I wanted to say about the new Doom games, 2016 and Eternal.
Yeah,
not that there aren't enough people yapping about those games, but I offered my 2 cents anyways.
Well, that's my surname, Yapp. So Yapp by your name, Yapp by nature. I clearly like
Right
my
on.
Doom, and I like talking about it as well. Yes.
Doom's one that's hard not to like.
Yeah. Something about
is.
those games, it feels like you need to talk about them too. Like the first time I finished Doom Eternal, I was like, wow, I have just so many thoughts on this.
Yeah.
That has
Really lived up
never
to
fully left me.
expectations. But
Yeah.
I think
That's
that
a great game.
Doom is like Fear and Half-Life, and that they're not just great games unto themselves; they're trendsetters. So
Yeah.
like other games come after them, like your Half-Likes and your Doom clones and that sort of thing. It's fantastic when a game comes out and it completely just changes the trajectory of things and it becomes an inspiration, which is of course what led us here today. Had Monolith not made Fear, none of us would be sat here today talking about Shell
Exactly.
Soldier, right? We'd all be working somewhere else in an office somewhere or whatnot.
So as a solo developer, what is the part of the game that you have found the hardest to bring to life, to put together as just one man? What tends to be the most challenging part to get right?
Well, as a solo developer, you have to do everything by yourself. So I have to, I don't really have the budget to hire anyone for the moment. So I'm doing all the art, the programming, the level design, the marketing, and usually when I do one particular thing, for example, if I'm doing programming for the game, or and when I do that for about a month, I tend to forget a bit about the other disciplines. So when it's time for me to do the animations or modeling again, I have to relearn it a bit. how I've done it before.
Yeah.
So yeah, that takes time. And then vice versa again. And when I go back to programming, I have to relearn again how this code works again. And yeah, it's just endless trying to learn.
It sounds so complicated.
Do you find that the variety keeps you kind of invested? Like that, the idea that you could be coding one day and then modeling the next day and level designing the next day, does that help keep you kind of going, or does it become more frustrating than anything?
Well, I guess at the beginning it was a bit fun, but now it's just not. Now it's just not fun anymore.
You're putting out fires all over the place.
Yeah, and I have to
Like,
relearn
I started
how to
that
put out
fire.
those fires. Just keep constant. Yeah, if I could just hire, people for one particular job.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you may
So-
have the opportunity afterwards.
Yeah.
When the game releases and you become rich and famous and successful, and we're like, hey, that guy was on our show one time. Now he's making like the biggest game. You can afford your own team afterwards.
I hope.
Yeah. So since Shell Soldier is a more fast kind of, but also tactical game, what were all the things that you had to kind of do or overcome when designing like the enemy AI and pacing of the game and so on to make it feel good?
Well, yeah, first, since if it at the beginning, yeah, but since it's obvious that's the game's inspiration is fear based on the particle effects of my game when you shoot things, there's it's automatic. It's important. Yeah, it's people are expecting the AI to be good. So I tried. At first, I was like trying. So how can I make the AI smart in this game? So like I googled the GOAP, the GOAP, the goal oriented action planning. Is that a correct abbreviation? Yeah, I tried studying that, and I was like, this is too much. I mean, it's like, it's like way over my head, and I was like, this like, it's like too complicated. So I was like, so I started trying to figure out ways how to make the AI smart, but not make it too complicated. So I tried to focus on how to make these AI enemies smart, and one way to make them feel smart is they have to always be flanking you.
Yeah. Right.
So that's that actually makes the game challenging and fresh. Like you're not. So if you notice playing the demo, the enemies are like constantly trying to flank you. They're always on your sides.
They never come
room
at
to
you in a
room
straight line, do they?
Yeah.
It's always
Yes.
from around the angles of the corner.
It's always in the corners. So yeah. And I find that easy to relatively easy to program actually. And
I'm curious. From I don't know how close to full release the demo is. I did notice when playing the demo that the AI do kind of like stack up on each other a bit. Like when they're it seems like they have almost a hive mind, and sometimes they'll occasionally stack together and go around a corner at the same time or something like that. Most of the time they're kind of spread out, but sometimes they just like stack together. And I'm like, what's happening right now?
I use that to my advantage, though.
Yeah, it does work for your advantage. Yeah. I didn't think it was intentional or not.
If you know where they're coming from, engage focus, and then suddenly you got 5 guys all standing together. You can pick up.
That's true.
It is a tactic you can use. I've done it.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
There's nothing like taking 5 guys at once.
If you catch them all, 5 of them at the same place, it can easily obliterate them.
Yeah.
So
You've got to play it several times over, though, so that you start to become familiar with where they're actually... Because essentially, you're trying to break the game, aren't you? You're trying to cheat the game by playing it so many times that you know where the enemy's coming from, so you can be ready.
Right.
Because you know they're coming around the corner. You can't use it fully, through your first what's it called, playthrough. But Carlos, who developed Sprawl along with Hannah, he was on our show last, and he said that the AI in Sprawl Zero, the upcoming sequel to Sprawl, was so good that they had to tone it down for the trailer because the AI kept taking them out and they couldn't capture the footage properly for the trailer. So it's like it can be really
awesome.
impressive stuff.
yeah, but it's hard to make it look good because they're like they're like trained soldiers. Like this is actually like a real war where you can really see the enemy coming.
On that topic, Robert, being that it was that difficult to get it right, or you want to know, you want players to feel like it feels right, was there anything that people might not notice that you're pretty proud of and how it finally worked out, how it finally came out?
Well, I think one thing I don't know if people notice is the slow-mo in the game is actually a bit different. It feels more like the game Super Hot, where when you engage in slow-mo, everything's slow, but whenever you shoot or you do melee or knife throws, it actually speeds up the time a bit. It then goes back to slow.
I never noticed that.
I'm not sure I noticed it either.
Yeah, I know the knife throwing felt fast. Throw the knife and the guy flies backwards, even in slow mo. but that's all I'll notice now when I play it.
I guess that does make sense, though. I'm trying to think. I do kind of feel like maybe I didn't notice it at first, but like, when you're shooting in slow-mo, it does kind of seem like the enemies were moving faster as you were shooting versus when you were like stationary or just walking kind of thing. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's actually a cool concept.
It's actually there's actually different value. It's actually different in each gun. It's actually different value how it speeds up time. For example, the pistol, if you shoot with it, it's still slow. But if you use the shotgun, one shot of that is like it speeds up time real dramatically, then slows it again.
Okay.
Now, was that just kind of like a game feel thing, or is there kind of a deeper design reason for that, like a balancing reason, or was it just to make it feel cool?
Actually, it's more like a game because back then I tried it with a strong speed up effect with the machine guns, and I mean, yeah, it looks cool a bit, but it feels uncontrollable. Like you just when you're in slow mo, and then when you hold your automatic fire of your machine gun, it just empties your clip fast.
Yeah,
and then, it doesn't feel right, but it does feel right when using semi-automatic weapons like the shotgun, the melee attacks, the knives. So
the only thing I found frustrating about the focus feature is that I would forget that I had an empty clip, so I'd engage focus. I go to shoot someone and nothing happens, and all I think of is I'm wasting my bloody focus here. So I disengage it, go around the corner. Yeah, you got to be very aware of these things, when you're playing a game like that.
Actually, there's a thing I didn't put in there. It's like when you're in slow mo and you don't have ammo. When you dash, it actually automatically reloads your weapon.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I never noticed that. I was melee.
I actually didn't. Yeah, I did.
I could go around punching everyone just to get ammo.
Yeah.
I liked punching people though. Like I feel like I was using my fists more than I was using the guns sometimes.
Yeah.
I especially like how the dash kind of turns into like a bash if you go straight into someone and kind of combo it into another hit. It's really cool stuff.
The ragdoll physics are great, so they made it.
They are,
especially in slow mo.
Well, you can just if they had the facial expressions, you'd just see them be like going backwards when they got hit.
He's very mad, very Max Payne there. Yeah.
With the demo that then being out, now that everyone's kind of had an opportunity to play it and they've provided their feedback on it, what sort of feedback are people giving you? How are you changing the actual experience based on that?
Oh, yeah, when I first released the demo, there's I got a lot of feedback. Yeah, I got a lot of people. I got a lot of opinions, and one of the biggest mistake I made when I first released the demo is I didn't release it with the key binds, with the rebind of the keys.
What?
And people didn't really like that because it's essentially they're not able to play the game properly because they're not used to the controls, and and I got a lot of people telling me to have it on, even if I told them at the beginning of the game that there's no key binds it, but put it in. I can't play your game if it not, and I had to rush that in to put in the keybinds, and I think that's
the beauty of PC gaming, though. You're meant to be able to rebind it so that you can play it in your way. So I'm not understanding why that would be something that people would complain about. But, as long as they're happy.
Yeah, it's like it's like my first experience with dealing with the public gamers. So it's like definitely for my next my next games there's going to be keybinds at the very first day of the game's release.
But the overall reception has been a positive one, right?
Yeah, they keep the they all like it. It's, keeps it reminds them
You know
of
what
fear
gamers are like,
and
So you know what
Sorry.
gamers are like. You'll tell them you like pancakes, and they'll hear you hate waffles.
Yeah,
They're easy to anger, man.
yeah, they have opinions. And there's also several people who are like, yeah, this is like fear, but can you like remove the whole Billy killing ammo thing or the doom elements? They just want one particular game, and I'm like, if I'm just making another fear, parang it's like I have to make this is my take on the fear game, and they want to like
you gotta have something to make it stand out.
yes.
Yeah. People can
And
go
so
play
you need
fear
to make
still,
it yours.
believe it or not.
Yeah.
I was
Yes.
about to say that. Why would you tell the developer to make it more like a particular game just to suit your taste when you can just go and play that particular game? The man's trying to make Shell Soldier, not Fear 4. So
Yeah.
but a lot of sadly, but a lot of people actually wanted it to be Fear 4.
Right.
Actually, a lot of people. I got a lot of people telling me they wanted Fear 4. That they're like telling me they're disappointed with Salako, with Drapan, because it's not like Fear 4.
what?
I'm like, yeah, it's wild.
What? Two of the best games that I've played in the last decade, and they're disappointed with it.
Yeah, it's like
That's what people are.
they
Yeah.
they want
Mind
exactly
killer.
like Fear. Any deviation from Fear is like a war crime to them.
Uh,
Like
That's
Jesus.
crazy.
I noticed that with the remake crowd too. I mean, that makes a little bit more sense because they're expecting an experience that already exists. And it's intentionally trying to mimic it. But if it's not 99 out of 100 or not 100 out of 100, it's an F. Like they'll grade it an F basically.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
like, go play the other one then. Like if it's so sacred, like how can we complain that this newer thing isn't exactly
Yeah.
like the old thing? We wouldn't
Yeah.
make it if it was exactly like the old thing.
Yeah.
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 True.
I think it's just great that people are making fear likes. That wasn't even an itch that I really knew needed scratched until I played, Sulaco and Trepang and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I just think it's cool that there is some people doing their take on that. It's
Yeah.
feels fresh compared to the Doom and Quake clones and stuff. So
Yeah.
I dig it.
A nice
Yeah.
blend of all the things, right?
They
It's a
are,
little
yeah.
bit Call of Duty-ish, a little bit Quakey, a little bit,
Yeah.
My
Exo
partner's
genre.
my partner's younger brother is 15, and I think I mentioned this before. And he grew up, of course, playing a slower type of pace game. And he came in one day and he was like, "What are you playing?" And I was like, "Oh, just these things, boomer shooters." He's like, "Can I play one?" And I was like, "Kid, you're not ready for this kind of pace." He went, "No, let me try." Yeah. So I put on Trepang, right? Trepang 2. And literally, he couldn't take his eyes off the screen because he just had to absorb everything in just to be able to keep up with the game. And he's like playing like this. He's going, "A lot is happening," and I just sat in the background just laughing at him because I'd beaten the game several times over. Oh my god! But that's the great thing about Focus, though. You can choose your pace of how you play the game, can't you? You can either run and gun, or you can, just stand and pop or that sort of thing.
Take your time.
All right, so it's time for our famous burning questions round. Our guests have 3 minutes to answer 3 random questions given to us from a random question generator, including the trick question that we added. So, question number 1. If you could instantly master any skill outside of game development, what would you pick and why?
I guess other than game development, my other passion is actually music. So
Okay.
I guess music production, making a good
Okay.
record. Yeah. I mean, it's evident. That's one of my other passions over there.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
if
guess
you
that
had to
wouldn't
live
apply to-
inside the world of Robert.
Which one? There's
what?
2 of
Sorry?
us.
No. Oh, yes, there is. Dang it. Quad Damage Podcast guy with a white shirt.
Okay.
All right. No. All right. Question number 2. If you had to live inside the world of any movie for a week, which one are you choosing?
All my favorite movies are like they're like all my favorite movies are like horrible to live in. Dystopian war films. I don't know. What world do I want to live in? They're all chaotic,
The least
like,
bad.
The least bad. I don't know. I guess one of my this is gonna sound corny as hell, but one of my favorite movies is Little Miss Sunshine. I guess
That movie's
I guess
great.
that's not. Yeah, I guess
Right.
that's not. Well, the family's dysfunctional, but I guess yeah, I won't end up dying or
Yeah.
Well, the grandpa dies, so
If you fire a rocket in Shell Soldier and it misses every enemy, is that a skill issue, a feature, or just emergent gameplay?
if you fire a rocket and misses, yeah, that's definitely the player's fault. It's a skill. I'm not gonna.
No
Yeah, but
freebies here.
Yeah, but I actually got a lot of people complaining about that. Like, oh, why is it so hard? Can you make the medkits more, the knives more, or parang, yeah, they want me to make the
It's too
game easy.
difficult.
Yeah, I'm not budging.
That's good. That's good.
No mercy.
Keep your vision.
Yeah,
All right.
get good.
So now for Dumpster Man.
Yes.
If you put a slinky on an escalator, is that infinite energy or just rude?
They're so stupid.
Let's
I love
see.
them.
Yeah,
Just
just
think about this one.
yeah.
No, this is a great
I
question.
guess-
It's perpetual motion, maybe, but is the energy going anywhere? I don't think so. It's not really powering anything other than the slinky, so it's probably just rude.
Studious answer. I like it.
All right. Question number 2.
Great poker face.
All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do fish ever get thirsty, or is that their version of an existential crisis?
It's kind of like breathing for them, right?
Yeah,
mean-
pretty much.
You ever I guess maybe if you're out of water for long enough, you're thirsty. Yeah, it's probably both, because if they're thirsty enough, they're probably about to die. So yeah, I'd say a little column A, little column B.
Would be a crisis.
Yeah, it might make you a little existential, facing down the
Water.
lack of a resource you need to live.
Or
Yeah. But
non-existential eventually.
they can suffocate, right? You take them out of the water, they suffocate.
Yeah.
So why, when they're in the water,
Yeah.
can they not drown? I don't get the biology of it.
Because they process the chemicals when they're in the water. Like they don't have all the chemicals necessary.
Yeah.
I sound like the worst fisherman in the world, don't I? Not even understanding what I'm working with.
He's like, I just take them out of the
Right.
water and they just die. That's crazy.
Like
Sometimes
my fish broke. Robert of the not white shirt variety. I had a question for you. This was not a question I wrote, but I thought it was a really good one. Can you tell us a little bit about the workflow that you have, like some of the tools, maybe some of the equipment, just some of the features of the engine that you take advantage of for Shell Soldier?
Well, yeah. As I said before, studied mobile game development, and one of the game engine they taught us was Unity. I actually wanted Unreal, but it's not available during that time. So yeah, Unity, and what other programs did I use? Photoshop for the the comics, the 2D images, the UI, Blender,
Yeah. I
'cause it's
love those
free.
comics.
Oh,
The comics
thank you.
reminded me of Hard Reset. I don't know if you've played that. You know, it has the comic book panels in it. Immediately, that's what I thought of when I played it. Were you
It's a bit
developing
of
the game? Were you developing the game when that whole shit went down with Unity a while ago? You know, when
Oh,
they were
yeah.
talking about how it was the royalties were going to be paid
They're
differently.
gonna monetize every time you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like, yeah, that sucks. It's crazy. Yeah,
yeah.
that really stressed me out. But I'm glad.
I can imagine.
The CEO Ricatello. Yeah, glad he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not doing that. But who knows? Maybe, maybe later down the line, they're doing something crazy again.
Well, let's hope not. I mean, hopefully they've learned their lesson and that it was such a big blowback that they
I
know
hope.
that they can't take the piss like that, right? And we
Yeah.
as
You would
YouTubers
hope.
obviously deal with our own different things with YouTube, but it is still we're
Yeah.
using someone else's platform, and you're beholden to the whims of who that platform holder as to whatever they want to change it to and stuff.
Exactly.
But
'Cause- And
how do you
you don't really have.
control
And and it sucks because you don't really have any other choice because it's the only platform in the it's
Yeah.
it's the only game or the platform in the it's the only thing you've got. There's no other
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah.
So the
Have you-
quality sucks.
It's not an interview question, but have you ever thought about working with things like GZ Doom or Godot or those sorts of engines? Something very different, to the Unities and the Unreal Engine.
Right now I just want to make more games, and I'm so used to the Unity pipeline right now. It's if I'm like studying a new engine or a modding another game, it's like it's going to take time again for me to learn that. And yeah, I would rather want to focus on making more games. Yeah, at the moment.
Are you looking at
So-
a franchise, or is Shell Soldier a standalone project?
Well, yeah, for sure. If Shell Soldier was successful, yeah, I can make it. I can make a sequel for it. But after Shell Soldier, yeah, I'll definitely be making a different kind of game.
Different how? What,
Interesting.
like fighting? That different, or just a different type of
Okay.
shooter? Yeah,
You can make it a Mortal Kombat
Well-
game now. Okay.
yeah.
Brony
Wow.
dating
Oh,
simulator.
I'm making a.
That's what Smooth Brain did, right?
I'm gonna be making a sim builder game next. No.
I would play the shit out of that. I would.
Paradox game,
Yeah.
grand
Well-
strategy.
Different is it's not going to be a first person shooter, but it's still going to be action based. It's gonna
Yeah.
be there's still going to be a lot of particle effects and chaos, destruction.
Yes. Yeah,
But
good
I want
stuff.
to try a different genre. So I have other games that I really like besides Fear.
Yeah. You've hit two genres though, really, haven't you? Because you're making both a first-person shooter and you're making a kind of a low-key horror game. If it has supernatural, elements to it, it's a low-key horror game. So I mean, I don't know if you want to make like some sort of romance game or something afterwards just to get away from it, but you've made two types of game already right now. So
Yeah.
I thought the Switch Hunt puzzles were pretty fun too. You got a future making puzzles too, I think.
That's actually those puzzles are simpler now, because back then when I made those puzzles, it's actually much more complicated, and my playtesters hated it. It's actually back then you used to juggle like 8 batteries in a level.
Oh, that's funny.
8.
Yeah, and there's like you have to freaking.
It took
go
me
over
5
all
minutes
over
to
the-
find 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it though. It's better than just like find the blue switch, find the red switch, move on. I thought the battery stuff was fun, and the ones you had to shoot as well, and following the
Yeah, so-
guy who turns on the thing. Yeah, it was good stuff.
Next,
I liked it.
Next game should be a romantic puzzle game. There we go. You got it.
There you go.
It's that with
Another
fighting
combo
elements.
genres.
Ain't love a puzzle.
With fighting elements. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, on the subject of Shell Soldier and all you've got going on, is there any kind of feature that you thought maybe you would be able to put in there, or you just ran out of time, or didn't have the ability to put it in, that maybe would make it an appearance in a future game, or just that you're kind of regretting that you couldn't put in this game?
Definitely in the future, if I'm going to make the next Soldier, I do definitely want more destruction in the game.
Mhm.
Like, you know, I actually wanted the destructible walls.
Wow.
Similar to
I love that stuff.
Would have been a
Yeah,
cool one.
But I can imagine that's hell to develop.
Yeah. Each time you blow up a wall, that's another, you know, those all those debris. Yeah, that's like,
Yeah.
yeah. I wanted to make it feel like Rainbow Six Siege, but
But yeah.
like a first-person campaign.
Yeah, you're speaking my language there.
Yeah, I actually like Siege too.
But yeah, that game too, even they have like endless issues with like how does sound travel through broken walls and stuff like that. Like it's just it's the door problem on steroids. Like it's the door problem, but imagine every wall is a door.
Yeah, that's
Right.
yeah.
It's a question for you then, Dumpster Man, seeing as you're on the subject then. If you were to make a game, what game would you make?
Interesting. I have dabbled just ever so slightly in like opening Godot and just, moving stuff around, putting some like gray box levels together. So I'm no expert, but I feel like the dream game is for me something like Dishonored, I guess. Dishonored is arguably my perfect game. I just love the mix of like the action combat and the stealth, like, and just the way they did it in that game.
Good one.
But yeah, something like that, just that blends the stealth and action so kind of seamlessly like that, I think would be awesome. But it's terrible that I say that I'm like dipping my feet into game development, and the first game I want to make is an immersive sim. Red flags all over the place.
The
But,
easiest genre. You picked the easiest
yeah,
YouTube beforehand.
notoriously easy.
Yeah.
Cakewalk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Usually quite successful too.
Yeah, right.
It's a shame. It's a shame we didn't know each other when Raphael came on. It would have been fantastic for you to have had
Oh,
a chat
yeah.
with him. It
I'll
was
have to
such
go
a
back and watch
gracious
that
man.
episode.
It was
Yeah,
such a
sure.
decent
That
man to
sounds
talk
awesome.
to as well. Yeah, loved him.
I felt it was awesome.
Yeah.
He was a real trooper too, because we gave the questions ahead of time. One of the first people we did that with, and he would end all of his sentences with the next topic perfectly, like it was all his idea.
Yeah.
He made us
Wow.
so smart. Like we were just coming with these great questions, and he was literally just writing in his own mind the perfect setup for that.
Yeah.
Did you put
Pretty
him
much.
through the burning question gauntlet too?
Everyone, yes, yeah.
Everyone gets it? All right, awesome.
Yeah, I think we're doing it then too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Yeah. So anyway, every developer kind of hits a wall at some point during development. What was one of your biggest oh no kind of moments when making Shell Soldier, and how did you kind of get over that?
Releasing the demo, 'cause when I was building it, I'm only letting it. I'm only let few people play it. The people I know, and that was a big this was a big leap for me, for like thousands of players playing my game, and criticizing every
Right.
second of
Yeah.
experience. And
Making
yeah,
very
that was a
honest.
big learning experience for me. And yeah, the first few months of the demo's release was like really challenging, because I have to make the fixes quick, fast. Fast. So
Right, for
yeah,
sure.
it was a learning experience.
Yeah, I feel like throwing out a demo is always something that's kind of, I mean, it's still a risk, I guess, to a degree, because you're usually going to be showing off something kind of close to a finished product, but not quite the finished product.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it's better than just showing off the not finished product in a trailer and then the end being different, because nowadays demos are kind of making this huge comeback.
Yeah.
And there's just everything has a demo, and I think it's amazing. I'm happy that demos are back out there, and Steam is doing like the Next Fest demos all the time, and people can actually try games before they play them, especially since over the years there's been a lot of, bad rep on pre-ordering games and people getting games they don't like and so on, because people see a trailer that may have marketed something the wrong way, and then they get the game and it's fairly different. I say a game that did that was actually Prey 2017, right? That game was marketed like a fast-paced FPS, and the end game was a full-on immersive sim where, the FPS aspect is one of the least important aspects of the entire game. And a lot of people were pretty upset about that at launch.
Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't seen the trailer for Prey 2017, but I actually really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, the pre-launch trailers are crazy.
It's an excellent game. Yeah, it really is very, very good.
Yeah, it's so good.
But but both of you, Robert and Dumpsman, do you play games that are not FPS related?
Me personally, right now I'm just addicted to Slay the Spire 2. So I kind of I have almost like two like baskets that I put the games I play in. There's like the fast paced like stuff, and I guess Souls likes is another thing that I play a lot of like on stream and for my channels. Just the more like faster, more engaging like action type games. And then there's like when I'm sitting on my couch with my Steam Deck and I'm playing Balatro or Slay the Spire or whatever.
I was just about to say that. I was going to say, did you get into Balatro?
Yeah, probably too many hours in that game. I don't even want to look it up how much I have.
Did you well, I haven't played Balatro or this game, but did you get into Ball Pit at all?
I played the demo, and it was one of those where I was like, instantly I could see how addicting that could be, and I had to kind of force myself to not get into it. I do own it on Steam now, and it's just a matter of me like firing it up and probably letting it get its hooks in me. But I feel like
the last year was just like full of a lot of games like that, like Balatro, and so like Slay the Spire 2 is this year, and then Ball Pit, and then what's that one game, Mega Bonk or whatever, was another one of those kind of games.
That too. I was playing one called Dice a Million, which is just like, it's literally just Balatro, but you roll dice instead. It's like, and it's like the same exact kind of crack cocaine in that one.
Vampire Crawlers is about to come out.
Yeah,
the Vampire Survivors like card game sequel kind of game. I'm sure that'll take over the world for a while.
Oh yeah.
There's so many vampire survivor games.
Oh yeah.
It's just endless dopamine hit.
Endless.
Yeah. Started its own genre, hasn't it? So what do you play then, other than FPS? If you even have time to play games, every developer we speak to says I don't have time to play games.
But I guess the most recent game I played is Resident Evil. I actually like survival horror games, Actually, the last game I played was Resident Evil Village. And
I love Resident Evil Village.
Only got halfway through.
Love that game.
Doom, of course, all the Doom, the 2016, the Eternal, but I find it the Dark Ages ones. I feel like that's more my speed.
But yeah,
I mean, I like Eternal, but it's like way too fast for me. So
it is quite the movement shooter, isn't it, compared to the Dark Ages?
Dark Ages,
Yes,
when Eternal came out. Eternal, go ahead.
When Eternal came out, it was like I played on hard, and I pretty much 100% of that game, and I got really good at it. Played it forever, and then when I quit, I came back. And then I just got absolutely obliterated from the very beginning. I'm just like,
forget how to play.
Yeah, and then you're like, you just gotta like completely relearn everything. I was like, that's probably the biggest downside about that game is it's not a very replayable game because of the learning curve getting back into it. Whereas like 2016, I could pick that up and just play it like nobody's business at any time of day. I don't need like 4 hours to get into it and relearn everything.
There's kind of the idea of like being in a flow state when you play an FPS game, but I don't get that really with Eternal. Playing Eternal, as much as I love it, it feels like doing hard work. Like doing hard
really
work.
is though.
It's like, okay, what weapon do I need in my hand? What's the synergy with this enemy? Like,
yeah. I don't know how many of you guys did all the Slayer gates, but if you don't about master the game, the Slayer gates are impossible. I mean, they are hard.
The Unmaker is better than the PUBG. That's why I did this.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
So, I think I skipped
was
one.
I'm also into Silent Hill.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, I also like Resident Evil, but I'm actually into Silent Hill. That actually influences a lot of my horror decisions. So
yeah, I can see that, the psychological stuff. Yeah.
What did you think of F, Robert? Silent Hill F? What did you think of it?
I haven't played F yet, but I did play the 2 remake. Yeah, I like it. I also played the original ones, the 1, 2, 3, and the Room. But after that, the American made ones.
So, say, Robert, say you had a budget that was like, the Resident Evil remakes. You had like a AAA budget. What's... I don't even know how to finish it because I want to ask, what do you feel like Shell Soldier would be if you had unlimited budget and unlimited tools at your disposal? What do you think a game like that would be like? What's your vision for it?
Well, yeah, definitely like I said before, like definitely more destructible walls, objects, and maybe
the hardest things to do in physics.
Yeah. There's like so many objects, and I have to limit
like the finals
destruction in the like like the finals, but cool. In a single player setting. With the fierce AI, enemy.
That would be fantastic. Yeah.
I'm still pretty impressed by the finals, like how it is able to do that in a multiplayer game and have.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Battlefield does it, but it's like the finals is a faster paced, less drawn out game than Battlefield with shorter game times, and I think it's like 60 FPS on modern consoles and of course PC, and at the same time having everything be fully destructible is crazy.
Yeah, it's so immersive and spectacular though. It reminds me of this is completely off kilter, but you ever play Wreckfest, the racing game? Yeah, how just everything breaks apart in that, and it just really pulls you into the experience. Like, oh my god, I'm getting fucked up here. It has that sort of feeling to it. Yeah,
I was thinking about Teardown too.
Yep,
that's a great one that it lets you destroy everything.
They got a multiplayer update coming out for that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'll have to check that out.
This is barely related. Speaking of racers, did y'all hear that the creator of the Hitman Simpsons Hit and Run game might be coming back? Like either it's like a remaster type thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard about that because
that's cool.
The original studio is like refounded as like a revamped version of the original studio. And I don't know if they're like retaining. I don't remember how it was working, but I don't know if they like retain those rights to a lot of the stuff that they already made. Because I think that, to my knowledge, stuff like Hit and Run and all that were abandoned, where like nobody actually, I mean, other than of course the creators of The Simpsons and Fox and so on, but nobody actually owned the rights to distribution or anything on Hit and Run and anything by what was the studio originally? It was one of the Radical studios, right? Isn't it Radical something? I can't remember.
Radical Entertainment.
Free Radical
Entertainment. Yeah. Not Free Radical, but Radical Entertainment, yeah. So I think that they might be retaining rights to certain games that they had made in the past because, like I said, most of their games I think were considered abandonware and nobody owned the rights to distribute them or anything. I think all of them are like, I don't even think you can purchase any of them anywhere online, Steam, anything. Just
that publisher is defunct too. Put into Universal. Alrighty, so to the rescue, my Discord, my miscreants. or the miscreants I associate with, they're not mine. I don't own them yet. So just a bald guy. Just a bald guy asks, and this is game development questions. This is to be for Robert. He goes or asks, how do you know when you got the balance right between too much ammo on a map and not enough? And tied into that is, how do you know when you made the enemies too spongy or the balance is just right?
I mean, personally, it's B. Like, if it, I determine if it's too spongy or if it's there's not much ammo in the game. You know, I used to play a lot of FPS campaigns on hard mode. Actually, yeah, I never play on normal. I always play on the harder difficulties when it comes to FPS games. And
You're a bigger man than
yeah,
me.
yeah. Sorry.
I said you're a bigger man than me. I'm normal mode the whole way.
Yeah, but yeah, I had my playtesters tell me if it's too hard, you know, so they kind of rein me in on having the damages, the how much ammo the level has, so to be balanced for normal players as well. So, but yeah, but more often than not, if it's difficult, then that's what I actually intended it for. It's either the player adapts to it, or you know, maybe the game's not for them.
Right. Is there like any game feel preference on your end? Like if you're playing a game, you're like, okay, I like the challenge, or is there ever a place where you've noticed, like, you're like, oh my god, is this ever going to end? Like I feel like I've hit 40 weak spots, or like the bar is just going down, you know, just like this, to kind of like guide how you do it in your own games.
Sorry, if it's the game's too difficult, have I
didn't know if you had like, I'm just picking your brain, like trying to figure, has there been a specific instance where you were like, okay, this is the breaking point between tough enemy and enemy that takes too long to kill? Like it's kind of bored now instead of like intrigued by the difficulty.
Well, usually I look at how long do you kill someone in the game. Usually in Shell Soldier, most of the enemies there, you can kill them within 1 to 2 seconds. And any longer than that, and the game kind of feels. I mean, yeah, I guess for other people, if you know, it feels a bit spongy because I think some of them kind of don't land their shots properly, so
Yeah.
it takes longer for them to kill the enemy. But for me, it's actually fair amount of time to kill most of them.
Just gotta go for those headshots.
Yeah,
Right on.
but it's more of just landing your shots consistently.
Right.
Get good. Okay. Speaking of get good, we got somebody who wants to just get into FPS games in general. Papa Polygon asks, I've never really been into FPS games or boomer shooters, and he's asking you, as a lover of FPS games, why do you love them, and what would be a good place to start loving them, in the same way?
Questions for me?
Yes.
What FPS games would I recommend? Yeah, well, probably Half-Life. The first half, more like the Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
That encompasses all the great experience of a FPS campaign game. Great story, great atmosphere, fair combat, interesting levels. That's what
true.
I would recommend.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I like your style.
That was a good start.
One of my favorites too.
Classic Doom's always a good place to start too.
Right from the
Just because
source.
simple. It's just simple,
The game literally doesn't age, by the way. It's kind of
No, it doesn't.
black magic.
Yeah. And if you really need the modernities too, you can always start with 2016, and depending on what you like, go backwards or forwards.
Yeah.
That's true. It's true. Yeah.
Although I think Doom 64, I think it's a lot more tactical than people give it credit for.
It definitely is, and a lot slower paced, more horror.
Yeah, it's not a run and gunner. Yeah.
It's also a bit more
Yeah.
technical, and like there's a lot more puzzle involvement in 64 than most of them. Like there's a lot more buttons and like you got to hit this button to go here and go there. It's not like overly complicated or confusing like Dark Forces, but it is. But it is more
Dead Force
complicated than
Infantry
typical Doom.
anecdote. It's like, what the fuck is this game's level design?
It's Dark Forces is something.
Yeah.
I actually
Doomy
didn't
Dark.
start with Doom.
okay.
started with Quake 2, then Half-Life,
Okay.
then I went back to Doom 1 again. So
Okay.
I started with
That's a
Quake
good
2.
place to start, though.
Mm.
Those are actually two pretty big, like, technical marvels of their time to really start with, and then go back to, early Doom and stuff like that to kind of see how it. That's something I really like personally, like going back and playing these games like Dark Forces and Outlaws and Doom and Quake and whatever. Just seeing how, like, incrementally a lot of these things were introduced or added, or a good one is like Half-Life, for instance, is really well known for being this thing that pushed like set pieces and more of like a straightforward narrative in a way. But right around the same time, Sin also came out, and it's like lesser known that Sin even exists around the same time. And actually, story-wise, Sin does some things even more complex in certain ways as Half-Life does, and does a little bit more intricate things than Half-Life does. But it doesn't have like the same atmosphere and feeling that Half-Life does. But it does do some things like just as important, I think. Just wasn't as good of a game overall as a full package.
But for me, when I first played Quake 2, and Half-Life, it was great. But for me, when the first game that I've experienced like true atmosphere and like really great story and is like it's not an FPS game, but the Metal Gear, the first Metal Gear.
Yeah,
that's like
one.
that's like I've never that's the first time I saw where you could like put a film experience in a game. And that really changed how games are.
I watched. I guess I watched and played Metal Gear Solid, the original one, with my uncle quite a bit. But I was pretty young, so like the first moment for me where I was like, "Whoa, games can be almost film-like at times." For me, it was actually Halo 2. I mean, even the original cutscenes, which if you've played the Anniversary Edition, the cutscenes in that game, they just need to take that and make a Halo like animated movie with that because it's just phenomenal. Yeah. But even the original cutscenes of the game and the way they did a lot of lighting and a lot of atmospheric like fog and the skybox, everything was just so epic, And that was a pretty important game, like for me, especially FPS game, to show like what people could do with story. And if you jump from like Combat Evolved to 2, like there's so much more story in 2 than Combat Evolved.
Yeah. I was, it's not a first person shooter, but I was thinking Max Payne might have been the first one that I was like, oh yeah, you can really kind of integrate the story and the vibes and the atmosphere into it. It was something I had never, at the age I first played it, had never seen done in a game before.
It's almost like an interactive book or something like that, narrative experience that you're experiencing along with them, where the story is
the feel
as important as the gameplay itself. So you're not just running around.
It's funny you mention that
things.
because it's funny you mention that because the guy who asked that question, Papa Polygon or Boyd Retro, as he's now on YouTube, he actually he's doing the Max Payne series for the first time, just like this month or something.
Cool.
Oh, nice. Right. Okay, then.
He'll be right on the cusp of all the suggestions that we're offering.
I think those games have some trouble.
And Half-Life, because those are like the two, I guess, breaking points. You've got, let's make the FPS incredible, and then let's innovate it, like take it to the next level type of thing. So
I think the first 2 Max Payne games have some trouble running on PC now, but like just gameplay wise, I feel like those games have hardly aged at all. They're still fun as hell.
Yeah. I can't play it without.
It's still so good. You don't care.
Yeah,
you can play it, but the audio in the cutscenes isn't there or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, the first Max Payne, the audio's like missing when you play it on modern devices right now. Yeah. You have to like have to mod it to fix it.
Robert, have you heard of a game called Sprawl?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So we had the developer of Sprawl on last, I mentioned before, Carlos. And rather than ask a question, he checked out the trailer for the game, and he just wanted to tell you that your game looks really cool and he's really excited to play it. He's worked really hard and he believes he's earned himself a treat, so he's going to play the Shell Soldier demo after we recorded the episode with him. We were literally on there while he was watching the trailer, and he was like, this is pretty decent, you know? So there are fellow developers out there that are looking at Shell Soldier and respecting what you've done there.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. You know, this game is really amazing, you know? Like the feel, the fast pace, and the atmosphere,
And that has adrenaline as well, you know, the slow-mo feature. It really is, yeah. So,
tell you what, one of these days, maybe you can do a little bundle. Put them side by side.
There you go.
They serve some needs.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, like,
Shell Soldier and Sprawl Zero.
Yeah. Just saying, we had Under the Mayo on the other day, and he was talking about how much he liked Conscript. And then he had interviewed the director of Amnesia the Bunker, right? The other World War I game. And somebody, maybe podcast Robert, that suggested, I forget who it was. Anyway, do a bundle together. So he's like, well, I just interviewed the guy. I should go talk to him. And then it came out like 3 weeks, a month later. And I was that easy, guys.
Yeah. I saw that bundle and I was like, we help facilitate that. But as I mentioned earlier, our next guest is developer of, I'm not saying the entire title, it's Brazilian Drug Dealer 3. Yeah. So if you had one question that you wanted to ask this developer, Robert, what would it be?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely interesting. I mean, if it definitely feels like Dusk. So I'm really curious to play. I guess my question is, how much does Dusk influence? How much Dusk influences game? And I guess what's the story with the guy on the cover art? Is he like a political figure? I mean,
so almost no way it's not.
Yeah, I feel like it's
feels
really someone important in Brazil or something.
Easy,
or maybe not.
Sure.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of, or I don't know, early in the trailer, it says play solo or online with 32 friends.
What?
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it frames it as if it's 32 people just playing these levels. Like a co-op adventure, not like a PvP thing. And I'm like,
it does have the PvP tag on Steam for some reason. So maybe it does have like a Dusk World multiplayer.
Yeah, it looks like it might have like an arena thing going on too. But I'm curious, how many people can play? How many people can co-op the campaign?
I did not know that.
Like 32 people.
Yeah, how many people can fit in one level?
You see stacked up people going through levels. How do you even lose?
That's a battle royale.
Yeah.
What is the future roadmap for Shell Soldier?
Yeah, I think I've said it before. After actually I'm releasing Shell Soldier for early access this year. No specific date yet, but yeah, definitely this year. After the early access release, actually the early access release will be shipping with 5 acts. The entire campaign, and there's going to be missing 2 more acts, and I'll be working on those. And once those final 2 acts are done, there's going to be 7. The entire game is going to be 7 acts, and after that, I'll be start developing on the other game. That's not an FPS game.
Romantic fighting game.
I'm bad at romance, but it's. I'm actually a big fan of this game. Relic Entertainment. Relic Entertainment's Company of Heroes. If you know that game, that RTS game. Yeah, I really like the destruction in that game, and I want to make a game kind of inspired by that. But it's not going to be an RTS game.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
Not that I'm going to ask you out to dinner or anything like that. I mean, like,
Oh my gosh.
career-wise, what?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a weird year for me so far. I was sick for like the first 2 months of the year, just with the flu and stuff like that. So I feel like my year is kind of just starting. But I haven't uploaded on my main channel in like 3 months or whatever. But I've been kind of kicking my second channel into gear. I know some people have strong feelings on YouTubers pivoting to the second channel, but it's been kind of fun, little lower key. So yeah, check me out. Dumpster Man 2. Hopefully I have some real main channel videos to kick out this year as soon as I can pick up a mic and have something interesting to say. I guess I had just one more question for Robert, and that is, outside of like the gaming medium, is there any strong inspirations from other like movies or books or anything like that you had for Shell Soldier? Music even?
Well, the music, actually about my my bandmate make the music for the game. So, and it's pretty much inspired by bands like Massive Attack and
Yeah, nice. I like that.
yeah, he really likes trip hop. So he's making the soundtrack for the game. Films, well, usually I like I really like dystopian. I actually do like war films, like Steven Spielberg war films, and of course John Woo films, like Hard Boiled, and all that. The more chaos a gunfight is, the better. So I really like those. Yeah. Also like A24 films, I guess I was kind of going with the Ghost in the Shell vibe with the Cell Soldier, but yeah.
All right. So thanks for watching Quad Damage Podcast. We'd like to thank our guests for joining us today in the discussion. Robert.
Glad to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
It's been a pleasure, buddy.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on.
And of course, Dumpster Man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Thanks for joining us, being a
Great
extra
co-host.
guest host. Yeah, co-host.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, no worries. I had a lot of fun.
So where can we find you, Robert, and where can we find Shell Soldier?
Yeah, you can wishlist Shell Soldier on Steam. Just type in Shell Soldier, or you can follow me on social media. Just search for CatHuntTree on X, on YouTube, and on Blue Sky.
All right.
And
where can we find you, Dumpster Man?
You can find me, I'd say, mainly on YouTube. Like I said, my main channel, just the regular old Dumpster Man channel, hasn't been that active, but I've got a second channel I've been uploading to, and yeah, I'm on, God forbid, I'm on Twitter as well, but
Yeah.
Follow only if you like terrible takes.
Fair enough.
I'm only on X for the game
Alright.
game development community,
Yeah.
not for the hot takes of random
Right.
people.
That's fair.
I'm
Yeah.
only on there for the game community, only for half of them, if that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's a
The
good way
good
to put
ones,
it.
the sane ones.
Right. All right. So where can we find you, Medium?
yeah, you can find me on YouTube, making retrospectives on RPGs, survival horror, various action games like eventually doing like Devil May Cry and stuff like that. So a lot of uploads there, pretty frequent, kind of grinding it out right now. And if you're interested in my terrible takes, you can hear me complaining about RE4 Professional being too hard before I could start buying rocket launchers for every scenario on Twitter, or X, as they've brainwashed us into calling it. I'm also on Blue Sky, when I remember that I have one. What else? And if you want to light money on fire, you can go to Patreon. I'll be there too.
Fair enough. All right, so you can find me at Lord the RPG on X. I just post random stuff randomly all the time. That's what it is. I'm mostly there for just games, game developers, that kind of stuff. You can find me Dead Forge on YouTube, where I do retrospectives, essays, reviews, go check out my Mr. Sleepy Man video, which is doing really well, and I doesn't make any sense to me. Great game, but I don't get it. The algorithm is a mysterious thing. Yeah, and you can check out just a channel that posts so much crap. It's never the same. It's an FPS and a survival horror game and a 3D platformer, so you never know. And if you want to, throw money away, just like you do with Medium, you can come on over to Patreon, Deadforge. And that's it from me. So now I'm going to let Robert in the white shirt take over and give you all the links for Quad Damage Podcast as a whole, as well as himself.
Yeah. Well, if you want to chat shit with me on Twitter, /X, it's RobertYapp80. If you want to communicate to the Quad Damage Podcast, obviously you can catch us on YouTube. You're probably watching that already, but we are available on YouTube Music as well. On X, we are Quad Dam Podcast. On Blue Sky, we are Quad Dam Podcast, and we're on Reddit as well. So we're lurking around in all of the corners, the seedy corners of the internet, wearing our banana hammocks and sucking our thumbs. Yeah.
And if you're a game developer and you're trying to hide, we will find you.
It's a threat, not an invitation.
Best threat I've ever heard. We will make you famous.
We will drag you onto the podcast.
We will.
Kicking and screaming.
You will.
But until next time. Yeah. Keep on booming.